Our world is accelerating at just a breathtaking pace, isn't it?
It really is.
Technology, globalization, they aren't just changing things slightly. They're fundamentally reshaping how we live, how we work,
Yeah.
even the kinds of problems we face.
Yeah, it's dynamic, exciting, sure, but also intensely complex.
Definitely complex.
And this rapid transformation brings us to a pretty critical point in education, I think.
Hmm.
Because the traditional models, often focused on rote memorization, keeping subjects totally separate, well, they just aren't equipping students for these interconnected, kind of multifaceted challenges that define our world now.
Right. They need more than just facts stored away.
Exactly. They need frameworks, ways to navigate all this complexity.
That's precisely the gap we need to bridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
So our mission today is to take a deep dive into this really fascinating article I read from CEO World magazine.
Ah, yes. I know the one.
It lays out such a powerful vision, merging design thinking with STEM education.
Mhm.
So we're going to unpack how this integrated model isn't just like a new teaching fad,
No, not at all.
but a real way to cultivate adaptable, compassionate leaders. And of course, those essential problem-solving skills you need for the 21st century and, frankly, beyond.
What's truly transformative here, I think, is the underlying philosophy. The article argues pretty convincingly that we need to move beyond just recalling information.
Oh,
We need
no.
to foster genuine creativity, deep collaboration, and the actual ability to solve real-world problems.
And that's where design thinking comes in.
That's where it becomes the catalyst, yeah. It's a student-centered methodology that inherently brings together principles from science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. It's not just sticking subjects next to each other. It's a way of thinking that lets students approach these, well, messy problems, as the article calls them, from all angles.
Okay, so it's more than just interdisciplinary learning. It's about a specific approach to how those disciplines interact. The article mentions it encourages divergent and convergent thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for listeners who might know the term, but maybe not the nuances, what exactly does that mean? How does that drive this whole problem-solving thing?
Yeah, good question. It basically means breaking that old habit of trying to find the single right answer straight away.
Go ahead.
Divergent thinking is about exploring a problem really broadly, generating a huge range of ideas, possibilities, often through brainstorming. You're going for quantity initially, not necessarily quality.
Get it all out there.
Exactly. Then convergent thinking is the flip side. It's about systematically looking at all those ideas, evaluating them, refining them, narrowing them down to find the most promising solutions.
I see.
This back and forth process, this iteration, alongside empathy and constantly refining, that's crucial. And it's structured through some pretty distinct phases.
Let's walk through those phases then. It sounds like each one kind of builds on the last, creating this comprehensive framework.
Exactly. It's very human-centered, very experiment-focused. It's a cycle.
Okay.
First, you've got empathy. And this isn't just, being nice. It's truly stepping into the shoes of the end user, understanding their perspectives, their pain points, their needs. Often you do this through observation or interviews, not just asking point blank.
So really understanding the context.
Precisely. From those insights, you define the core problem. What are the specific needs you're actually trying to address? This phase is all about clearly articulating the challenge.
Makes sense.
Next up is brainstorming. This is where you generate tons of potential solutions. No judgment allowed at this stage. Really leveraging that divergent thinking we talked about.
Okay, the anything goes stage.
Sort of, yeah. Then you prototype. This is about quickly building tangible models or experiences. They can be rough, really rough sometimes.
Like sketches or mock-ups?
Could be. Or simple physical models. The point is to make your ideas real, even if it's just in miniature, so you can test them.
Which leads to the last phase.
Right, testing. You take those prototypes and you see how they work with real users, get their feedback. This closes the loop. It tells you what needs improving, and often it sends you back to an earlier stage, maybe brainstorming again, or even redefining the problem with new insights.
That continuous loop, refining and learning, that seems key. What I'm curious about now is the real synergy, the connection between this design thinking process and STEM. How does that experiment-focused nature of design thinking really dovetails, as the article says, with STEM's focus on systematic problem definition and testing theories? especially when you bring in those emotional and social factors.
Ah, that's where the model truly shines, I think. While STEM is fantastic at defining problems systematically, testing theories with data, being rigorous,
Right.
design thinking injects that crucial human element. It ensures solutions aren't just technically possible or efficient, but also desirable and viable for people.
Okay, give me an example.
Okay, imagine a STEM project designs a super efficient water filtration system. Great. But a design thinking approach layered on top would make sure that system is, say, culturally appropriate for the community using it. Is it easy for them to maintain with local resources? Does it truly address their lived experience with water scarcity?
I see. So it's not just about the tech.
Exactly. It moves students beyond thinking only about practical or scientific concerns. They have to consider the emotional, the social, the ethical factors too, and that makes them far better prepared for society's really complex interwoven difficulties. It helps cultivate solutions that are not just possible, but actually purposeful.
I can definitely see how that would require a pretty profound shift in educational philosophy. The article really hammers home that educators need to move beyond teaching narrow, isolated subjects and start facilitating these holistic, transdisciplinary experiences. It sounds like a total reimagining of the classroom.
It really is a fundamental shift. The ideal model, as the source describes it, sees core subjects woven together, infused throughout all the grades.
So not just like a special project once a year.
Right, and think of it not just as multidisciplinary, separate subjects interacting sometimes, or even interdisciplinary, where they overlap more deliberately. It's aiming for transdisciplinary.
Transdisciplinary. Okay, what's the difference there?
It's where the traditional discipline boundaries kind of dissolve. A shared theme or a complex problem drives the learning, and you pull from whatever disciplines you need. The problem itself transcends those old boundaries.
Can you give an example from the article?
Sure. Imagine a history class involving a design challenge where students have to reimagine a past society, but using future technologies. They'd be exploring societal needs, historical context, and applying an engineering or design lens.
Wow.
Or maybe science courses tackling sustainable energy solutions through architectural design projects that combines physics, environmental science, maybe urban planning, art.
That's a huge leap from traditional lectures, isn't it? Where everything feels so separate, so siloed. So, beyond those really cool examples, what are the specific learning strategies that make this work? It seems like it has to be very hands-on, very connected to the real world.
Precisely. The article champions using real-world case studies that cut across different fields. That provides the authentic context that really drives understanding.
Right.
Experiential learning is huge here, learning by doing, through challenges, simulations, hands-on creation. But critically, it's also about genuine engagement with the world outside the classroom walls.
How so?
Community partnerships become vital, things like internships, or maybe students collaborating with local professionals on actual civic initiatives. It helps them see the innate relationships between disciplines not as barriers, but as bridges to solving complex issues that matter. It creates this deep sense of relevance and purpose for them.
And these bridges, I guess they're increasingly digital now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Technology must play a massive role in this new model.
Oh, absolutely. Digital tools are central. They enable collaboration and exploration on a scale we just couldn't imagine before.
Like what specifically?
Well, online platforms, for instance, make collaborative brainstorming and project development super easy. You can have peers working together seamlessly, even if they're distributed globally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially for safe, practical learning, thinking about
Yeah.
complex systems maybe. What other digital applications are really crucial here? I imagine things like showing off your skills would look pretty different too.
They really do. Take virtual and augmented reality, VR and AR. They're transformative. Students can safely explore complex simulations, test hypotheses in virtual labs without needing expensive equipment, or prototype complex systems before they even think about building something physical.
Reduces cost and risk.
Facts.
Allows for faster iteration.
Exactly. Big time. And yes, showcasing skills shifts dramatically. Digital portfolios are becoming key. They let students present their growing skill sets to, say, future employers or university admissions tutors using rich multimedia demonstrations, not just a transcript. And you also see online certifications popping up, supplementing traditional credentials. They validate specific skills, like coding proficiency in a certain language or mastery of some advanced design software.
So it's not just using tech as a tool. It sounds like it's also applying design thinking and STEM to technology itself.
Yeah.
What kind of future challenges does this prepare students for, especially in our hyper-digital world.
It prepares them to address new digital possibilities directly, to become creators, not just consumers, of technology.
Great.
Think about actually developing augmented reality teaching tools or programming sophisticated AI assistants that actually understand human nuance or designing tech solutions that genuinely expand human capacities in some way.
Right.
This synergy equips students not just to keep pace with rapid technological change, which is hard enough, but to actively lead its advances and make sure technology actually serves human needs.
This is where it gets incredibly compelling for me. The versatile skill set that students end up cultivating when you merge design thinking and STEM like this.
Yeah.
It sounds really comprehensive, almost like a new kind of literacy.
It truly is, I think. Students learn to systematically research and define complex issues, looking at them from multiple viewpoints. Then they learn to propose innovative solutions that are deeply informed by that empathy piece we talked about earlier. And crucially, they develop a real comfort with ambiguity, with refinement, through continuous iteration and testing, basically breaking those old habits of needing a single correct answer right away.
And embracing that continuous improvement idea instead.
Exactly. It fosters resilience and real intellectual flexibility.
So it's not just about finding an answer, but maybe the optimal answer through this adaptive, iterative process.
Yeah.
How does that affect things like their communication skills or even discovering new interests?
Well, these cross-disciplinary projects inherently strengthen their ability to communicate complex ideas clearly, both verbally and visually. That makes them stronger self-advocates, more persuasive presenters, better collaborators all around.
I can see that.
And furthermore, just being exposed to fields way beyond their maybe initial personal interests often sparks entirely new passions. It helps them see and reinforce the fundamental connections between topics that, are often artificially separated in traditional school.
And what does all this holistic training mean for their future readiness? Are we really talking about a new kind of graduate entering the workforce or university, someone fundamentally different?
I think we absolutely are. This kind of holistic training equips graduates to adapt incredibly nimbly to diverse career paths, or to pursue multidisciplinary studies with real confidence. They emerge as, and I like this quote from the article, lifelong learners able to drive progress at the intersections of technology, science, and human needs. They're truly empowered to solve whatever challenges pop up in our rapidly evolving world.
And not just with technical skill.
Right. Not just technical expertise, but with that deep understanding of the human context baked in.
So, really paving the way for 21st century education. It sounds like blending design thinking with STEM isn't just about making school more engaging, although it certainly seems to do that.
That definitely does that.
But it's more fundamental. It's about retooling young people for this really dynamic period of profound social and technological change we're in.
That's the core insight, absolutely. Early adoption of this integrated philosophy, it nourishes adaptability, it fosters really unparalleled collaboration, and it hones that creativity that modern workplaces value so highly. It strengthens individuals' ability to drive high-impact progress because it uniquely marries technical mastery with human sensibilities. It creates problem solvers who are not just smart, but also perhaps wise.
And looking even further ahead, what's the ultimate promise of this approach? It sounds like it goes beyond just individual skills, potentially impacting society more broadly.
It does. The article emphasizes that these blended skills will become, and I quote, ever more essential for navigating breakthroughs across disciplines.
Okay.
It's about fostering compassionate leaders with robust problem-solving abilities, a strong work ethic, and the interpersonal skills necessary to apply innovation for the benefit of humanity. It's about cultivating these versatile, empathetic thinkers who are ready not just to survive, but to really thrive amid all the opportunities of our interconnected world.
Wow. So this deep dive into merging design thinking and STEM, it really shows it's not just some educational trend. It feels like a profound shift, preparing students for the undeniable complexities, the messiness of the modern world. The article compellingly highlights how this integrated model cultivates exactly the kind of versatile, solution-driven thinkers that are so critical in this age of constant disruption and really complex problems.
It really does. And it prompts us, I think, to consider the practical applications of this knowledge for ourselves, for you listening.
How so?
Well, if this blend of empathy, iterative problem solving, and that ability to marry technical skill with human understanding becomes the cornerstone of future education, how might that fundamentally change the very definition of a successful career or maybe an innovative solution in your own field? Something to think about.